think that wanting to call a partner Zadzi, yeah, I think I pronounced it right, Zadzi, in bed, or preferring partners who are sexually dominant translates to daddy issues. Wrong. That is so wrong. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all keeping safe during this period. So as you can see, today's topic is daddy issues, and this topic came from the fact that I made the video being raised by a single mom, and a friend of mine asked me if I have daddy issues, and I was like, no, I don't have daddy issues, because I was in denial. Let me use that, because I said I don't have daddy issues. Then I was like, wait a minute, what are daddy issues? So I decided to first check. I think we all misuse this term when we all say that so and so has daddy issues, so and so has daddy issues. I think we all don't understand what daddy issues are. So when she asked me if I have daddy issues, I denied. But then again, I was like, what are daddy issues? So I decided to go to Google and check what daddy issues are. And I'm sure we all know how Google is. For example, when you're sick and then you decide to go to Google and put your signs and symptoms of whatever it is you have, Google has a tendency of exaggerating, and then inaweza kwambia ata uko full blown whatever disease it is, or maybe you just decide to go there and put your signs and symptoms like flu and so on, and then Google will tell you have corona. Okay, I'm just joking. Or maybe for us ladies, when you've been a bad girl and you miss your period, so you decide to go on Google, and then Google will automatically tell you that you're pregnant. So that's exactly what I did. I went to Google and just typed daddy issues, and when I typed daddy issues, it didn't bring a definition. It didn't, like how in class or in school you're given an introduction, a body, and so on. So when I typed daddy issues on Google, it brought me something. I'm actually going to start with that, by a blogger called Natasha. So this is what I first found when I went to Google. So daddy issues, 15 signs you may have them and why. So on this video, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first read whatever it is I came across as the first bit, because honestly, after I went to Google and this is what it brought, the whole of that week I was like, kumbe I have daddy issues and I don't know, kumbe I'm in denial and so on. So anyway, let me just read. I'll continue explaining as we go by. When it comes to girls with daddy issues, you subconsciously attract and are attracted to men that highlight any unresolved issues that you may have in both the relationship and or lack thereof with your father or a significant male figure from your childhood. So number one, your self-esteem is low, you don't love yourself, and you can't ever seem to implement boundaries because you always feel guilty for doing so. Number two, you have a really hard time trusting any guy that you are with. You have to, quote unquote, screen them. Number three, you need validation from men. If you are dating someone, you have this thing where you need to make it known to your boyfriend that you are, quote unquote, in demand. Number four, breakups aren't just devastating for you, they are catastrophic. They cause a ton of collateral damage, and you find yourself needing to seek validation from your ex, like you need to breathe oxygen. Number five, you like eliciting jealousy and any other reactions that display that effect you have on men. Number six, in your relationships, you are jealous and overprotective. Number seven, you need unreasonable levels of reassurance that, quote unquote, everything is alright, that you are, quote unquote, good enough, hot enough, and the list goes on and on. Number eight, it's hard for you to remain single. Number nine, you are a serial monogamist and always act like you know it all. Number 10, you prefer to date older men. And no, that doesn't mean you are hitting up the local retirement home, but you do like men who are older. Number 11, you are more comfortable in seeking validation from an emotionally unavailable man than you are being with a good guy who validates you. Good guys bore you. Number 12, in one way or another, you were emotionally orphaned as a kid by dad or by a significant male figure in your childhood, and you've been on an emotional driftwood ever since. Number 13, your dad was around but never really present. You never felt good enough for or truly connected to dad. Number 14, you have abandonment issues due to emotional or physical abandonment from dad. Number 15, you consistently involve yourself with emotionally unavailable and narcissistic men. Those are the points that I got from Natasha, and then there was a closing bit which reads, if you are wondering why you keep going after emotionally unavailable men, it's because you are chasing the familiar. Familiar is predictable, and predictable, especially to a traumatized heart, is safe. You are never going to regret using your daddy issues to motivate you out of your dysfunction instead of keeping you immersed in the quicksand of your triggers. Once you identify your daddy issues, you'll be able to work towards them and making them a thing of the past. You'll also be able to make sure that your future current daughter knows that she is enough. So once I was asked if I have daddy issues, I was in denial that I don't have them, and so as you can see, this is what I got. And for me, I felt that it wasn't, I couldn't have this idea, because I was like, okay, you've told me I have daddy issues. And then after actually a week of thinking and sobbing about it, I decided to go back to Google. So when I went to Google, that's when now I found at least something that I wanted to share with you guys, you know, because it says that girls, or even, okay, mostly girls who have been raised by single moms, we have daddy issues, and in one way or the other, it's true, but at the same time, if we have them, what are we supposed to do? So I went back to Google, and right now at least I found a psychotherapist who was talking about it, which for me really helped, and I want to share with you guys. So it actually starts with the definition of daddy issues. So daddy issues is an informal phrase for the psychological challenges resulting from an absent or abnormal relationship with one's father, often manifesting in a distrust of or sexual desire for men who act as father figures. So actually you guys can go and check it on Google, because it's Healthline. You'll just see it in Healthline. So let me continue. Yes, daddy issues are a real thing. Here's how to deal. And it's medically reviewed by Janet Brito, PhD, LCSW, CST, on February 18th, 2020, written by Adrian Santos from Longhurst. So where did this concept originate from, the concept of daddy issues? We can't say for sure, but the consensus seems to be that it dates back to Freud and his father complex. This is a term he coined to describe a person who has unconscious impulses and associations as a result of a poor relationship with their father. Next, actually I know imeanza kukani kama ni lecture, so it's not, I'm just trying to share. Nilishindwa how I can explain it without going through what I found. So, and I honestly want to help someone. Isikae ni kama I'm just coming here to yap, as in I want to show that I actually got information, legit information from Google, so that at least in one way or the other it can help someone the same way it helped me. So next is, are there different kinds? The attachment patterns formed during childhood can affect your attachment styles in your adult relationships. Attachment styles are categorized as being either secure or insecure, with several subtypes of insecure attachment styles, including, so number 1, anxious-preoccupied. People with this attachment type may be anxious, crave closeness, but feel insecure about their partner leaving them. Number 2, dismissive avoidant. People with this type may have trouble trusting others for fear that they will be hurt. Number 3, fearful avoidant. People with this type may feel unsure about intimacy and tend to run away from experiencing difficult feelings. Hawa ni wale wa hana hiyo time ya kumassage ego, or Okay, secure attachment styles result from having a caregiver who was responsive to your needs and emotionally available. Secure attachment styles, on the other hand, result from having a caregiver who was unresponsive to your needs and emotionally unavailable. So what might this look like? Secure attachment styles typically develop if your childhood needs were readily met by your caregiver. And honestly, I told you guys in the video, being raised by a single mom, I honestly never lacked anything. So for me, that was a secure attachment with my mom. Okay, so as you can probably guess, people who have a loving and secure relationship with your caregiver are likely to grow into confident and self-assured adults. These are the folks who likely have their life together in various aspects, including their close relationships. Their relationships tend to be long-lasting and built on real trust and intimacy. Then there are the insecure attachment styles, and they could look like quote-unquote daddy issues. So they often appear as, number 1, being anxious when you aren't with your partner. Number 2, needing lots of reassurance that the relationship is okay. And number 3, seeing any negativity as a sign that the relationship is doomed. And honestly, that is where I fall. Yeah. Because whenever I see any form of negativity, I just say that that relationship is doomed, Okay, next, it isn't just about romantic relationships either. Your relationship with your caregivers and your attachment style also affect other close relationships, including your friendships. Who's got them? Everyone. Okay, like everyone. Daddy issues aren't just a female thing. It doesn't matter what sex and gender you were assigned at birth or how you identify. Your relationship with your caregivers will always have some influence on the way you approach and deal with your adult relationships. The way a person's issues present might not look exactly the same, and so-called daddy issues could actually be mommy, grandma, or granddad issues, or something else entirely. No one is immune. If that's the case, why is this concept so gendered? And she answers, who knows? It's a bit of a head scratcher, given that Freud's theories first focused on the relationship between father and son. So I went and did something small. I'm sure guys who have done psychology know about Sigmund Freud. I've not done psychology, but I know these guys do, they know. So Sigmund Freud, May 6, 1856 to September 23rd, 1939, was a physiologist, medical doctor, and father of psychoanalysis, and is generally recognized as one of the most influential and authoritative thinkers of the 20th century. He was an Austrian neurologist and the co-founder of the psychoanalytic school of psychology. Like how they kept on repeating him, I had to just go check who he is. Anyway, moving on. What we do know is that making females the poster gender, quote unquote, for daddy issues is inaccurate and potentially harmful, according to Rollo. So the lady who is answering, her name is Amy Rollo, is a triple licensed psychotherapist and owner of Heights Family Counseling in Houston, Texas. Yeah, Nikon receipts. Okay, next. When we talk about daddy issues, it's typically a way to dehumanize a woman's needs or desires. Some people even use the term to slut shame, she says. For example, if a woman desires sexual intimacy with men, it must be because she has daddy issues. In other words, something must be wrong with her for her to desire sex. Daddy issues could also mean that a woman desires strong attachment with a man, Rollo says, adding that in these cases, using the term is minimizing a woman's basic needs in a relationship. Again, Rollo emphasizes that anyone can have attachment wounds from not having strong relationships with your parents, even if the term is usually reserved for females. How might it affect your choice in partners? It's believed that people will gravitate towards the type of relationships they've had in the past, even if it was a troubled one. Yeah. If your relationship with your caregiver was a traumatic or disappointing one, you may be more likely to choose a partner who will disappoint you the same way. For some, it's because that was their norm growing up, so this is the type of relationship they think they should have. For others, having a partner that's similar to the parent is an unconscious hope to get that parent's love. If you haven't dealt with these issues, they can still affect your relationship with a great partner. Insecure attachment styles can lead to behavior that pushes your partner away and creates the disappointing relationship you're expecting based on your previous experiences. How might it affect your sexual identity and behavior? A poor relationship with a caregiver can definitely affect your sexual behavior, but evidence on if and how it affects a person's sexual identity is mixed. Not to push the gender stereotype, but a lot of the research available on how a poor relationship with a father affects a child's well-being and development is focused on females, mainly cisgender and heterosexual. You can Google cisgender, I actually had to Google. Several of those studies have linked less involved fathers or absentee fathers to everything from early puberty to increased sexual activity. That doesn't mean it's only females whose issues can equate to baggage in the bedroom though. Males who didn't get a chance to identify with their fathers might be insecure about their masculinity. This type of insecurity that's further fueled by pressure based on gender norms might make someone shy away from dating and sex, or lead to compensating by engaging in overly macho or aggressive behaviors. Bullies, we see you. We see you. Okay. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, poor parent-child relationships, particularly with fathers, is one of the risk factors linked to a greater likelihood of perpetrating sexual violence. Of course, not everyone with a shitty relationship with their dad is going to become a sexual predator, and daddy issues also aren't at the heart of every person's choices when it comes to sex. Everyone should be allowed to create the sex life they desire, Rollo says. She adds that your sex life shouldn't be pathologized as long as it's within your value system and doesn't harm your life. How do you differentiate between healthy sex play and an underlying father complex? Think that wanting to call a partner Zadzi, yeah, I think I pronounced it right, Zadzi, in bed, or preferring partners who are sexually dominant translates to daddy issues? Wrong, that is so wrong. The role of father is traditionally seen as a role of authority, and for some, authority is like catnip. Rollo wants people to understand that healthy sex can look like a lot of things. Role playing, for example, is more common than many may realize. Wanting to slip into a naughty nurse costume and quote-unquote take care of your partner is just as valid as exploring a daddy dom stroke little girl dynamic, regardless of motivation for doing so. How do you know if it's something you need to work through? If you keep on ending up in relationships that are like deja vu of the painful aspects of your childhood, then it may be time to make a change. Think about your current or past relationships. Can you spot a pattern in the type of partners you choose? Yes. Are your relationships usually plagued by insecurity, anxiety, or drama? Yes. For me, reflecting on your experiences and learning about the different attachment styles can help you figure out yours, so you know if a change is in order. What can you do? Taking some cues from different, healthier relationships and family dynamics around you may help you see how things can be done. Yes, I know, lakini guy, couple goals hawa tu wa Instagram also ndio wanatupeanga stress haki. Hizo ndio healthy relationships you're supposed to look up to. Anyway, try to take what you learn and apply it in your own relationships. You may also consider talking to a counselor or therapist. They can help you work through unresolved issues and help you identify and change your attachment patterns. I'm sure, like, I was actually, there's a time Edgar Barry did this topic on daddy issues, and guys were really responding to it. So guys, if you feel like maybe your daddy issues, of which to me now I've started calling them attachment disorder, because it's more of an attachment disorder, it's not daddy issues. So if you feel like it's really bothering you, you should definitely see a therapist. Finally, we all have our own version of daddy issues, whether they stem from a poor relationship with a caregiver, a parent who was absent by death or divorce, or having parents who fought a lot. But remember, you aren't destined to a life of heartache and poor choices just because you didn't get the security you deserved or were given a less than stellar example to lead from. Okay. So I'm actually not going to continue because I'm going to like leave it to you guys to decide on whether if you are watching this, do you think you have daddy issues? Because for me, as much as yes, they are being called daddy issues, I'm not going to like call them daddy issues. I'm going to call it an attachment disorder, because it came from the fact that maybe I didn't have a father figure growing up. But considering the fact that I had my mom and I never lacked anything, I honestly wouldn't say that I have daddy issues. What I will say, maybe it's an attachment issue whereby maybe my relationship with guys is usually a bit shaky. It is, because actually for me, before I even trust a guy, before like I have to screen them, you see what Natasha was saying, like most of those things I fall there. Okay, and so okay, I have them, and then what? I'm the one who's supposed to work on them. I already know that I have them, and definitely I'm supposed to work on them so that maybe eventually I won't have to like push away a great partner and maybe being toxic to the person. I know like there are people out here who say that this is who I am, I can't change, but honestly change is inevitable. And when we are growing up, we tend to change, because right now I can say I'm not where I was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, because as we grow, we continue learning, we continue maturing, and so on. So yes, I'm going to say that yes, I have an attachment disorder because of lacking a father figure when I was growing up, but that is not something that is supposed to bring me down or pull me down. So I'm constantly working on it so that I can eventually have an amazing relationship with my future husband. So honestly, I think I'm just going to stop there while you guys continue like taking it in. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.